The internet is a vast, sprawling labyrinth. We navigate familiar paths, but there are always hidden corners, dark alleys that lead to nowhere, and forgotten forums collecting dust in the digital ether. That's where I found it. A thread titled, "The Deep Web Broadcast." It was a simple text post, devoid of context. Just a single line. "They're looking for you. Tune in at 3:14 a.m. on local broadcast channel 73.1. Curiosity, that insatiable itch, took hold. 3:14 a.m. was an odd time, and local channel 73 was nothing but static in my area. But the internet breeds a morbid fascination with the unknown. At 3:13, I found myself staring at the static, a pit of unease forming in my stomach. Then a flicker. A grainy image materialized. A dark room lit only by the flicker of a single candle. A figure, shrouded in shadow, sat hunched over a desk, their back to the camera. A voice, raspy and distorted, filled the silence. "Are you there?" It rasped. "Can you hear me?" A primal jolt of fear shot through me. My finger hovered over the power button, but morbid curiosity held me frozen. The figure spoke again, its voice laced with desperation. "They're after me," it hissed. "They took the others. I need your help. You have to spread the signal." The image flickered, then died. Static returned, a mocking hiss in the darkness. I scrambled to record the broadcast. A sliver of proof against the encroaching doubt. Sleep was impossible. The next day, I searched for the thread, but it was gone. No trace of it, no record. Was it a prank? A hallucination? I couldn't shake the image of the figure, the raw terror in their voice. I uploaded the recording anonymously, a tiny beacon in the vast ocean of the internet. Days turned into weeks. Then, one by one, emails started arriving. Messages from strangers echoing the figure's words. "They're looking for you," they'd say. "Spread the signal." Panic gnawed at me. Was I being targeted? Or was this some elaborate internet hoax? I couldn't tell. The fear was a constant companion now, a cold dread that coiled in my gut. Then, one night, I woke to a scratching sound at my window. A silhouette stood there, obscured by the darkness. A raspy voice, chillingly familiar, whispered, "Thank you for spreading the signal." I never saw the figure again, but the emails haven't stopped. More and more people are receiving them, their messages echoing the same chilling plea. The search is on. And somewhere, in the forgotten corners of the internet, a desperate soul fights for survival. Their only hope, a flickering signal on a dead channel. Flickering through the static wasteland of late-night television, I stumbled upon a peculiar broadcast entitled "The Smiling Man Show." It displayed a grainy image of a man with an unnervingly wide grin plastered on his face. His eyes, black and bottomless, seemed to pierce through the screen. An unsettling silence hung heavy in the air, broken only by the occasional nervous cough from the unseen host. Curiosity gnawed at me. Who was this man? Why the unnerving silence? As I watched, the man on the screen spoke in a slow, monotone voice. "Welcome, viewers," he rasped, the words echoing through the room like gravel scraping against concrete. "Tonight, we delve into the forgotten corners of the human psyche. We explore the darkness that lurks within us all." A shiver ran down my spine. The man's smile seemed to widen, stretching the boundaries of human anatomy. He spoke of rituals practiced in hidden corners of the world, of entities that thrived on negative emotions. With each word, the air in the room grew colder, heavier. Then, the show took a horrifying turn. The camera zoomed in on the man's face, revealing a network of tiny cuts etched across his wide grin. A single tear, crimson red, rolled down his cheek. "This smile," he whispered, his voice cracking with emotion, It wasn't always mine. It was borrowed. The screen flickered, distorting the image before cutting to static. My heart hammered against my ribs. Was this some elaborate prank? Or something more sinister? The next day, the story was gone. No trace of the Smiling Man show existed in the television listings or online archives, but the unsettling image of the man and his horrifying words remained etched in my mind. Then, a week later, I saw him, walking down the street, indistinguishable from the crowd except for one chilling detail: the wide, unnatural grin carved across his face. Our eyes met for a fleeting moment, and a shiver ran down my spine. His smile, I realized with a jolt of terror, wasn't painted on. It was real. Now I see him everywhere, in crowded grocery stores, on bustling subway trains. His smile, a constant reminder of the darkness he spoke of on that late-night broadcast. The fear is a constant companion. Is he just spreading fear, or is there something more to his borrowed smile? The answer, I fear, might be hidden in the forgotten corners of the television, waiting to be rediscovered on another sleepless night. The city was a symphony of honking horns and flashing neon signs, but none of it could penetrate the suffocating silence of the late-night train. I boarded on a whim, seeking a quiet escape from the city's relentless energy. The carriage was mostly empty, save for a lone figure huddled in a corner seat. The figure, an elderly woman draped in a worn shawl, barely registered in my sleep-deprived haze. Exhaustion pulled at me, and I drifted off, my head lulled by the rhythmic rattle of the train. A blood-curdling scream jolted me awake. My heart hammered against my ribs as I scanned the carriage. The old woman was gone, replaced by a young man, his face contorted in a mask of terror. Panic clawed at my throat. "What happened?" I stammered. He stared at me with wild, bloodshot eyes. You can see me." His voice was a hoarse whisper. "Who are you?" I demanded, fear battling with morbid curiosity. "I'm the passenger," he rasped, "the one who takes the empty seat. But only those who can see can hear my story." A shiver ran down my spine. "What story?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He leaned closer, his eyes burning with an unnatural intensity. "This train," he hissed. "It doesn't just travel through cities and towns. It travels through moments. Moments of fear, of despair, of unspeakable horror." He spoke of a conductor who collected these moments, weaving them into a horrifying tapestry of human suffering. Moments that became real for those who could see, like passengers on a twisted ghost train. His words chilled me to the bone. With every bump and rattle, the train seemed to shudder, the air growing colder, heavier. Whispers filled the carriage, a cacophony of terror from unseen passengers. He pointed to a dark corner. A scene materialized from thin air. A man, his face contorted in agony, strapped to a chair in a room bathed in a bloody red light. Tears welled in the passenger's eyes. "Please," he pleaded, "you have to stop it. You have to get off at the next station." The train slowed, approaching a dark, deserted platform. Panic tightened its grip on me. Was this the escape he spoke of? Or just another horrifying destination? As the train doors hissed open, I looked back. The passenger was gone, replaced by the empty seat. The echoes of his words lingered in the air. "Tell someone. Tell them the passenger is real." I stumbled off the train, the desolate platform stretching before me like a bad dream. The city lights, once a source of annoyance, now seemed like a beacon of safety. Was the passenger's story real, or a figment of a sleep-deprived mind? The memory of the man in the blood-red room haunts me. Now, every train ride is a test. Will I see the empty seat again? Will I become another passenger on the midnight train, forever trapped in the journey through moments of unimaginable horror